my chipping. I am going to use you guys and girls to try and help me with my chipping and explain to you some of my thoughts and my ideas and some of the issues that I face even just practicing it. And the reason I'm going to use you guys and girls is if I explain something to you, what I like about it is it actually adds a little extra pressure. Knowing that you know what I'm feeling or what I'm trying to achieve obviously makes it so much more public. You see what I mean? If it doesn't go right, it makes it so much more embarrassing, I guess. So I'm going to use you down at Lens Watching to add some pressure to help me with my chipping and hopefully explain to you why I need that pressure to want to change. Let's get stuck in. Now Dawlish is a great place to practice your chipping because the lies are linksy bare. This time of year as well, they're slightly moist and bare, so they're the most punishing. So the biggest problem I have is I find practicing really hard to have effective practice, because if you watch the course vlogs and everyone who wants to count them up, it's interesting, I don't miss many greens. So what that means is I don't get much in-situation practice. Believe it or not, as a junior, my chipping was as good as my putting and better. It was one of my strongest points. It was almost kind of jokey amongst the people I played with inside 50 yards, gonna get up and down. Then what happened, as I got older and stronger, because I'm quite straight, I was hitting more greens in regulation, whereas as a junior I couldn't reach the par 4s, you know, as a 12, 13, 14 year old playing on full length courses. I couldn't reach the par 4s, so if I couldn't get up and down, I probably would have stopped playing golf. Come on wind, bring it back. It was my chipping, and then in turn putting, which was enabling me to compete with people. Where now, let's pretend I play twice a month, say. So if we do a week's trip, let's say that's 5 times in a month, we'll play 5 courses in a 5-day trip if we do a trip, and they're rare. You know, I'm missing, I would guess on average, 4 greens in regulation per 18 holes. And that's certainly what I was doing when I was competing. And then the ones I was missing, I'm not often missing by much, so I would be choosing to putt because it often was the better option. My long putting generally is okay. So I have this situation now where I'm just not practicing my chipping. And then if I dedicate my time to actually practicing my chipping, that you'll see a bit here now, I feel zero pressure. I feel like I chip quite well. But obviously when I get on the course and there's a match and a score and I get one go and I haven't maybe hit a chip in situation for 2 weeks, I can't rely on what might come out. So I need to develop a technique that makes me more reliable. That's the journey we're going on. So technique I'm finding I have the best results from at the moment are, so I'm going back to my more open stance, ball feeling like it's kind of nearly touching the right toe, which actually makes it kind of in the middle if I'm square back on. Handle missing my left side, and then feeling as I chip like left hip, left shoulder really come up on the way through, which is sending that club down. Because I am finding in situation, the thing I'm struggling with most is actually catching them slightly fat. There's less thin ones. I would use this technique more, certainly feeling left shoulder, left hip coming up. I use that at fairway bunkers, and I'd certainly use it if I was chipping off, say, like a path. If I didn't get a drop off a path, I had to chip it. I'm going to try and catch it almost clean and try and nip it. At the moment, in my head, I feel more secure if I'm just interacting with the ground as little as possible when it comes to the more lofty clubs. So even though that result is a little bit long, it touched the hole. There's a lot of slope there that I'm running off. I'm happy more with the quality of strike if I can repeat that strike. I personally feel my judging of distance is still relatively high. It's the strike that's varying that makes you see me duff it short, fin it a bit long. More duff it short than fin it long. It's not that I'm nipping it and dropping it in the wrong place that often. Just gotta get, it's strike again, isn't it? It's always, why is it always strike? Let me just buy a club. Come on, golf. think what I'm doing in this video like I said at the start, I'm using you to help me create what I struggle to feel anymore, and that is pressure. When I used to compete, I loved pressure. If you speak to Matt, he knows, like when we do the Tour Pro vlogs and that kind of thing, you know, if I'm 2 down, he knows I can pull one out. Not that I win them, and I often get rubbish down the last, which, to be honest with you, is not normally what I'd be like. Maybe it is now I'm an adult. But I play my worst when I haven't got that pressure, and I'm happy not to have it anymore. I enjoy playing socially, you know, I really enjoy what we do, but I can see it does seriously affect, which has now become my weakest suit, which my chipping has become. But I think the message here for you is think seriously about how you're practicing the bit you want to get better. Getting that added pressure might make you practice more, because you don't want to let the people down. It might make you think harder about changing your technique, might inspire you more to change, make a change, because you want it to be so much better. What I've noticed is if I just hit loads and loads of chips, it does have an effect and it helps, but nothing beats, you know, if I had the time and I wanted to compete, I'd be competing once a week in an event where it matters, and between those times I'd be practicing as much in situations, so playing like this, to try and build that confidence up. I haven't got that now, so I'm going to work on this technique, which is a bit more like my old style of technique. Handle forward, ball back a little bit more, turning up and through, because I know what I need to improve. It's the strike, knowing what to improve. So it's the strike with the idea of it being in situation, and then in the time allotted, using that time in the best way. So I'm using you and this video camera and the chances I get when I'm testing clubs, those kind of ideas, to try and get the most out of my limited time. So I'm not going to the range. I'm not going and hitting 50 balls, because my iron play's alright, my driving's fine, my putting's okay, custom shop special sometimes, but my chipping is just weak. Come on, Mark, don't let the viewers down. I mean, what's funny as well, I think, this is the big show, is that I actually, that's coming at us, isn't it? Where did that go then? That's there. It's over there. Is I'm happy for you to watch every other part of my game. There's a part of me that actually enjoys it. You know, I'm happy to show off. Always was as a kid. I felt nerves on the first tee, but I wanted people watching. I wanted an audience. You never have guessed, would you? Where if it's my chipping, I don't mind that you're watching, but I'm certainly my least, you know, I'm not confident. I'm worried of making myself look silly. Punch 5 iron. Just up the left, get on, it's going to come off just off the left of the green. It just doesn't bother me, it's going to kind of impress more than it's not. We need to get there with my chipping, don't we? See what I mean? About situation. That was a horrible lie, and that's not a bad shot. Great doing it here, adds some confidence, happy to build on confidence. But how do you get better at doing it when it matters? You do it when it matters more, don't you? And we haven't all got time for that. That's often why we plateau. It's easy to stop in this game, isn't it? But for me, I'm going to do my hardest to simulate that, add that pressure, so when that situation comes, I've got memories of success, of performing in a similar situation, and I'm going to recall on A, that technique, and B, those feelings. Right, this is the start of the year. Let's watch how much this video backfires on me, shall we? Put comments down below. What do you want to confront this year? And that's what you got to do, confront it head on, I always find. Don't bury it. Easy to bury it in false emotions. Post those comments. Be brave. What are you going to beat?